Welcome back to Satisfactory. We're playing currently on update 8, so it's just before version 1 will release, and this is episode 30, probably the last episode on our series, because today I'm planning to complete phase 4 of the space elevator. We've basically automated everything in the game. The only thing that was missing is the nuclear pasta, and as you can see, we have started it over here. So we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk also about the new train line I had to make, because basically now we have a train that starts here, goes all the way here, and then all the way there, and delivers into the space elevator, right? So that's going to be a big one. I think we're going to do also a quick world tour to recap everybody, you know, where we're at. And then lastly, obviously, as I said, making sure that we complete phase 4 and therefore complete the game as it stands right now. Don't hesitate, of course, to tell me in the comments below if there's other things you want me to cover, you know, other episodes we should be doing before version 1. I'm thinking of doing definitely a top 10 tips, you know, so that for everybody who maybe hasn't played the game, you're ready for update 1. But yeah, apart from that, tell me in the comments below. As I said, let's dive right in with the nuclear pasta. We need particular accelerators. We need actually 2, because each of them is only making 0.5. So I wanted to make 1 per minute, right? Because remember, we're already making 1 per minute of this one. We're making also 1 per minute of that one, right? So trying to make 1 per minute of all of them. We have those particular accelerators, which we have already used to make plutonium pellets in an episode in the past, or somewhere over here, right? It's my nuclear reprocessing plant. Check in the video description below if you missed it. Yeah, those cool buildings, right, where the energy actually starts at 500 and goes all the way to 1.5 so like 1.5 gigawatt. So that will never be, you know, exactly the same in terms of energy. As you can see, also my productivity is not great. We're going to explain why. It's something I could have corrected, but I wanted to show you why it wasn't working. So it is taking 2 things. One is 200 copper powder, something we've never made before, so we're going to have to do this, and pressure conversion cube. Now, the powder, it's actually 100 per minute, so 200 in total, right? Versus the other one is only 0.5, so obviously that's a lot less. This is actually made just next door with 1 assembler, fuse modular frame and radio control unit. We can make, you know, with one per minute, so that's perfect for 2. That's taking 1 fuse modular frame and 2 radio control units. So we have started to make this, you know, before, right? In my mega factory over here, my mega base, right, where we have a mega bus. So that was easy, right? We're just bringing it from the bus, and then we're sending it, you know, at level 0. Here you can see it. So that's actually not the problem. You can see there is a lot of storage of these things. So it's not the problem why this is only, you know, right now at 50% productivity, for example. The problem, as you can see right now, is the copper powder. So we need 200 per minute. 200 per minute, this is 4 of these, because each of them is making 50, right? But to make 50, now this is just 1 constructor, so it's not that hard. And also it's just taking copper ingots. So again, feels not that hard. But look at this, this is the difficulty, is that to make 50, you need 300. So to make to make 200, we need 1,200. So that's really a lot, obviously, of copper, and that's even more than our belt Mark V, right? So even if I bring enough copper, which as you can see, I'm not actually bringing right now, there's a few holes on the belt. Even if I were to bring enough, that would only be 780, so that would be enough basically for 2 and a bit of the third, not for 4. So that is why we're not making right now enough copper powder. If I want to make more, I will need to bring... Now the reality is I could bring the copper from here. I'm making like tons over there and bring it over there. But I will need 2 belts, right? There's 1 belt basically for those 2, 1 belt for these 2. But the good thing is that, yeah, with this, we started to make nuclear pasta. You know, I had started to put it first into this storage, but now we've also started to send this up. We're using the same tip as always, right, where you use a foundation, you put one of these floor holes, and similarly you put a floor on top, and therefore you can have an elevator as big as you want, right? It's not limited by the space, because otherwise, I think if you follow my series, you should all know by now that, you know, the height of an elevator is limited, right? This is the max, but when you do those floor holes, you can make them as big and as tall as you want. So we have the first one coming here, right? You can see the second one there. We have the third there going on the same, and then the fourth over here. Right, so bringing all of this into this platform there. Again, you can see the first one over here, the second, the third, and the fourth on the other side. And then they go here into another elevator that will go into, of course, a train station. So it is the 4 elevators, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the reality is we're producing so little that I could have used only 1 freight platform and mix it all, but I prefer to separate everything, have it clean, right? So you can see we're making some, obviously, probably the train just left. Is it this train there? No, it only has 3. The train here should have 4. So yeah, the train probably left, a couple of minutes ago, right? Because we're making 1 per minute of those things. So it's probably somewhere over there. And then, as I said, we're going to have an expanded train line, right? It starts over here. And maybe while this is happening, I can show you that obviously, it's going to go there. It's going to go on the roundabout on our main train line, but then over there's also a new train line that's going all the way to the elevator. So we're gonna take this train in a second, but before we do, just showing you what happens when the train comes back. It's gonna come over here, right? It's gonna go this side and then over here and then come back here, right? So it's very similar to the one we made in the last episode, that is bringing those heat sinks, or taking those heat sinks that we are making over here and bringing them to the nuclear facility over here, right? Which is still working perfectly with the power of editing. The locomotive is back. You can see we're doing small delivery over here. Let's go into the locomotive and follow it back to the base. I'm gonna make it go a bit faster, of course, but you'll be able to see, the full train line. We're gonna have to wait also for this train to move away, I guess, but that's fine. Okay, we are starting. First one is green, the second is not. There is somebody else that is here first. We'll let the train go. Obviously, as you can see, given that I have only one sort of train network, right, one line, there is some delay, some traffic, but the reality is we're transporting so much versus what we can produce that you don't actually feel this delay. Okay, I think that should be our turn next now. Yeah, it's green, let's go. And with this, we're on our way. Already almost 100 kilometers per hour. And with a bit of chance, we're not gonna slow down at all. We're just gonna go straight all the way. So it is. Now this is a new roundabout and we're turning back. You can see the space elevator in the background. So this whole line is new. Obviously I use the same blueprint as we've always been using, right? That has the road under and this railway on top. Yeah, it's not exactly straight, as you can see. I was doing it a bit fast, but we are getting close to the elevator. We can see a station there. It's a pretty simple one. And by the way, I mean, this is almost starting a world tour, because remember, this is where we have a lot of old factories over here. Right, we have the fuel generators, for example, in the background over here. We have the copper at the bottom there. Right, I don't remember which, this one, that was the motors, I think, all the way back. But yeah, we've arrived over here and we're going to be able to see that there is actually hopefully quite a lot that has been delivered. So here it is. You can see we have some over here, right? Oh, right now they are delivering, so we need to wait a second. Okay, or maybe while this is happening, let me show you. I mean, obviously it goes down, right? And you can see we have a lot there. It goes all the way over here. And then it's gonna go into this elevator. I haven't built it that. We're gonna build that together. It's gonna go all the way down and feed into the elevator. So to make it a bit, clean, it's not super pretty. I know this is more functional than pretty, of course. To make it clean, I have two on each side, right? Two will go on that side, two will go on that side. They go into those elevators that are just going directly into the space elevator, unless I made a mistake somewhere, right? But it seems to be looking okay. So yeah, we're gonna connect that together and that's going to start flowing into the space elevator. So yeah, it's gone. So you can see there is quite a bit of reserve for some of them. All right, so I'm hopeful we won't have to wait long to finish it. So let's press 3 and create the delivery. Oh no, this is not the right one. So let's go 1, 2 and connect. Perfect, perfect. Okay, so yeah, it's going down, and hopefully we're gonna get there. And see, it is. We can see the first one are being delivered, right? You can see it over here. The other ones, I'm hopeful, will also start coming, unless I made a mistake. Yeah, they're all there, and it is. I love to see those numbers going up, 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 and up. Oh, this is beautiful. Love it. We're gonna see it's probably gonna stop quickly for the nuclear pasta. That's the last one we put online, and then potentially, I don't know which other ones, will stop first. Okay, pasta has stopped. So we definitely will need, quite a bit more pasta. We can even calculate it, right? Because it's 1 per minute. We still need basically 700, so 700 minutes. It's also not working actually perfectly right now. Alright, so it's gonna take a bit more time for sure. Oh, the second one just stopped, and as you can see, this one is pretty close, right? We're already pretty close to the 1000, and hopefully the two other ones will continue for a while because we need 4000 of them. While this is happening, let's take a minute to talk about the sponsor of the channel, Instant Gaming. If you missed it, I shared earlier this week that Instant Gaming is now a sponsor of the channel. They are supporting us by providing great discounts on many games. If you have any questions about it, don't hesitate to check in the video description below. I made a full video explaining, how the website works, is it a scam, all those type of things. But today I want to show you that actually they have Satisfactory. So we can see that Satisfactory is, at the time I'm recording, so it may obviously change, it is minus 41%. It's actually also worth noting that the price of Satisfactory, the base game is supposed to go up pretty soon, before version 1. So, it may be the perfect time to take it both at that discounted price before version 1 and with the discount of Instant Gaming. So if you're interested, just go into the video description below, you'll find my sponsor link that will give you access to those discounts and will also help support the channel. And yes, while this was happening, now we have stopped delivering. Right, we have arrived to 1300 for pretty much the first two. So that's gonna take again a bit more time before we get to 4000. But that's okay, that's normal. We have concluded the first two over here. So let's move to the third one, a world tour, right? This can be a great recap for all of you, of what we built. Starting over here, I guess, right? This was our original base. I mean, the hub has always been over here. The space elevator has always been over there. We haven't moved it. We, at the beginning, didn't even have foundation or anything over here, right? But now we have obviously some foundation. Then this used to be really the starting base, right? We had a few of those miners, right? As you can see, that were transforming things into the basic materials like the iron rods, the iron plates, etc. We still have a few ones that are left, but the reality is, as you can see, they're all yellow. They're not all not working because we're never taking any of those resources anymore. We have bigger factories to make this, but it's good to see what was there at the beginning. And speaking about the beginning, also this is the same for electricity, right? We had all the way over here our first, let's say, power plant, right? We had all of those biomass burners that were connected to each other, right? Actually, I think we had a few more over there, and we had next to it the bio sort of automation. It's not in the early access, you can't send the biomass directly into the burner. We had to do that manually, but we could actually at least transform, right? Transform the wood, the grass. Oh, we're a bit low. Let's try and send some. We could send that into biomass, right? Then transform our biomass into solid biofuel. So that's what was happening over here, right? And by the way, let me recap that. Yeah, we are over here, right? We are at the edge of the forest, right? This is where we're at. This is our space elevator, right, and the hub. Then you may remember we started building this side. We built the first few factories on that side. Then we started moving more on this side over here, right? Oh yeah, we went indeed, I remember now, all the way there, right? Then we started building also a bit more in the south over there. And then lastly, we started a mega project over here, right? Here there is a lot of different things. So let's start moving, as I said, the first piece we built, it wasn't the right way, but we built over here this gigantic, which I was pretty proud of. Like, it's not super complex, but it is really organized, and it is also one of the first time where we had used blueprints. Like, each of those blocks was a blueprint that was already ready. Alright, and we had this pretty cool factory, like simple but well organized, that was making three things, which you can see over here. Right? This is what's coming there. Those three resources going down into the storage, and it was also linked to some of the first truck station. We could deliver all three of those resources wherever needed. So we have the cable, the copper sheet, and the wire. So everything linked to copper, obviously. Yeah, that was indeed one of the first few factories. Another one that was pretty early is in the back there. Now it's hidden a bit by this, which didn't exist before. Over there, right? This was our first coal power plant. I was also pretty proud of it at the time. So don't hesitate to tell me if you remember, if you loved it or not. But right, we had like those big pillars on the water. We had the water extractors, and then this was going, inside here, where we have our fuel generators, right, or coal generators, sorry. And this was linked, of course, to one miner too, that is over here, right? We have this one coal miner, and that was going there, going into it. And the pretty cool thing is also when we move from miner Mark 1 to miner Mark 2, then we are producing enough to send some, you know, to have half of it there and half of the coal continue this side and have another one of these, right? It was basically a copy paste on the other side. So that is how we got a lot of our energy at first. We even built some energy storage next to it, right, to be ready for it. We had some roads, right, that were starting to go from the base here to this one. And then we continue to expand even more after, you know, burning the coal. We're merging the coal with iron over here. Like, I think this was this one, right? Let's check it. We have coal there, and where is the iron? No, that is not the iron, that is concrete. Where is the iron? This is not this one either. This is copper. Oh, the iron was over here, sorry. It's been a while since I look at those factories. No, this is more coal. Where is the iron? Oh, here. Here is the iron. So we had the iron. There's definitely a lot of coal over there. And we're taking this iron and also a bit of the limestone you saw in the back. And all of this is going into this factory there, right? So it starts, oops, sorry. It starts at the bottom over there, right? And then it's sent here into these several levels. And we're making those refined products of steel, right? The steel pipes, the steel beams, and the encased industrial beams. So that was pretty cool too. Then starting to send some of those resources here for other trucks, right? This was a first real road. We have, and we still have, some trucks walking there, right? Those trucks, for example, were at some point going all the way over here. This is what we called the highway to hell, you may remember. So the highway to hell goes all the way there. We're taking, you know, a few of those resources, a few, I think it was also cables and things like this. And we're also going to take resources, you know, that are over there and others. So they had big plan for this one to grow even further, even if we sort of stopped using it after a point, which is the normal thing in Satisfactory, right? You build, and then you need to be bigger and bigger and bigger, and so you start moving across. You could also delete everything, but I wanted to keep it all so you could see, you know, the whole journey. Yeah, then this is where we started building a few more kind of advanced things. Right? Those were some of the first advanced materials, because as you can see, I have multiple levels, right? This is just building one thing. We were doing also a lot of these kind of blueprints at that point. So here, yeah, this is where we're making, you know, the stators, the rotors, and the motors, right? We have those 4 blocks, and at the bottom, you know, we're getting the basic resources, then slowly but surely we're refining into more and more advanced things to then make the motors. Then in the back, I have completely forgotten what this was. Oh yes, this was one of the first elevator parts. Right? We have the versatile framework and the automated wiring that are automated over here. We can actually follow, right? Some of it is coming from these two. This is automated wiring, and then the other one is here, versatile framework. And that was also one of the first time that we were using road here. There's obviously the road for trucks. We actually never use the rails on this one, but there is also space here to put both pipes and to put you know, belts, conveyor belts, right? So that's what we did with this one. It's gonna go all the way over there, and you know, we're pretty much at the end of the map there, so I didn't do much more, even if there's a couple more resources around here. So let's go back to the main part of the base. Okay, we're back at the base, but actually there's a couple of factories that we missed on this long line. The first one on this side, where we're making, I think it was like modular frames and maybe even heavy modular frames. So there was basic things like reinforced iron plate, which is why, you know, we're not using that anymore. Normal iron plates, normal modular frames, then heavy modular frames indeed, and roads, right? There was a couple of trucks that were going to make that happen, plus quite a big, you know, tall factory, right? Taking some resources and making it happen. And then on the other side, we had this one that's very dark now with Lumen. It was actually pretty good before, but now with Lumen, I think that doesn't work that well. Where we're you know, doing the quartz. We're taking the raw quartz, and we're going to transform it into the quartz crystal, into the silica, and even at the level above, we're doing, you know, the next level, right, where we're transforming it then into those crystal oscillators. Then if you've played Satisfactory in the past, you know that there's this joke that you always need more screws. So over here we're making like thousands of screws. This is all screws. That's a pretty cool one too. And yeah, on the other side we have local storage, right? Central storage. You can see there is basically one box for each resource, but this is manual. This is not an automated one. You can definitely do automated one. In this case, this is just a manual one, but still pretty useful. And then, yeah, I think that one was actually also one that we built very early. It was for quick wires. We have the caterium that transforms into quick wires. And then on the other side here, this is oil refineries, right? So that is where we're making a lot of different things. And this is definitely a new step in the game, right? When you get into oil, you have a lot more fluids. You're also going to need probably more energy. So we'll talk about this one in a second. But if we go inside the factory, you'll see we were making, obviously basic things, but also like the basic things, I mean, the rubber and the plastic, but also a few advanced ones like the computers, high-speed connectors, air limiters, circuit boards, right? It was a production that needed quite a few inputs on top, of course, of the oil-based materials. So we were bringing all of this, through here. You can see there's a lot of trucks coming, but this wasn't working that well, right? So at some point we stopped it. Now it is not really working anymore, but at that time that helped us definitely start making our computers basically. And then over here, this was also one of the first train station. You can see it actually doesn't even have, a way to have multiple trains or anything like this. It's just a one way between, the one over here in the back and this one there. This is bringing compacted coal. I'll show you in a second. This compacted coal is going into this factory where on each floor we had a lot of those fuel generators, right? You can see fuel generators, fuel generators, fuel generators, fuel generators. So that was actually a big boost of energy at the time. That is using, of course, not just the compacted coal, but also quite a bit of fuel. It's actually taking all of the fuel that you have in this area there. You can see one over there, one here, there's a couple in the back, etc. So all of this was brought here, right? And we were making quite a few of those pipes there because, we're talking each of these is producing a lot. So yeah, we had many of those pipes, right? Some of them we're not even using at this point. This is the production here, right? That was a pretty cool one at the time too. And yeah, as I said, transforming obviously also some of this other fuel, which is actually coming from that side here. We have 2 pipes of fuel that were going into this factory over here. Factory where I did quite a lot of decoration, quite a lot of different colors. It is again pretty dark now with lumen, but in the past it was pretty good. So yeah, we had the blue ones over here were the plastic, we had the pink ones over here were for the rubber. Then we were transforming the heavy oil into petroleum coke and then actually burning this petroleum coke into even more energy over here. So yeah, that was another one, pretty cool. Again, I'm going a bit fast because obviously I did one episode on each of these factories in the past. Don't hesitate to check in the video description below if you want to re-watch all of them. But I wanted to, take just a couple of minutes together to look at them all before we finish, this series. And then, yeah, basically we went, on the other side over there. As I said, there was already the quick wires, but we started also making the compacted coal with a couple of other things. So let's take, again, this hypertube. You see that at the beginning of the game, we were also using a lot of hypertubes to move around before we moved into trains, right? So yeah, we have the quick wires over here, right? And then we get into this other factory here where we're making the compacted coal, right? And this compacted coal goes into the train. But to make compacted coal, you need basically the sulfur and the coal, right? This is what you can see over here, coal and sulfur. We did make also a couple of other things, like this is where I'm making, this black powder and also those nobelisks, because it's basically the same resources. We have some sulfur that comes from the bottom here, and we have some sulfur and coal that also come from up top here, which was another trucks. There's more coal coming from here, more sulfur, etc. So yeah, this was definitely our truck time. And then lastly, we started building over here this gigantic one line, right? This is one line that could go to the end where you have all of the bauxite. This is when we started moving into this last piece, right, of making the bauxite or transforming the bauxite into alcad, right, aluminum casing, all those type of things. We did build also even bigger factories for everything. For example, over here we have an even bigger oil production, right, to make I remember I put a sign with how much, I think it was 600 of the different resources, like 600 of rubber and plastic. We'll see that in a second. Takes a minute sometime to move around, but yeah, So what was it? Oh, 400, sorry, 400 of rubber, 400 of plastic, but also a lot of petroleum that we're burning here, right? See, it's all green, so that's working. And in many other factories, right, we have, for example, over here some steel, we have some iron, I think this was quick wires, we had in the back over here a lot of copper, right? We have there the nitrogen gas, right? Then we had the nuclear facility over here. I don't remember what that one was, but basically, you know, sort of reproducing every single types of resources on this so that we can send all of these resources into the mega base over here, into the mega, a lot of elevators, a mega bus, and with this being able to create, you know, all of the end game resources. So I was pretty proud of it. Again, I think this is great progress. Of course, many of the late game factories, I didn't spend a lot of time making them pretty. I think they get so big, and it takes a lot of time to just make the factory. Making them pretty, it takes even more time. But over here you can see at the beginning of the game, we did spend some time doing this. Do tell me also in the comments below if you want to see more of sort of beautiful factories, what type of things you want to see in our next series will start when version 1 drops. And yeah, now I basically need to let the game run a bit so that we can get enough resources. As planned, obviously, a few hours have passed. I haven't counted them, to be honest. I mean, the game was just running, didn't really touch it. But we have now 3 of the 4 that are almost done, and the last one is almost there, you know? We're only missing 44 out of 5,000 something. The next time the train comes in and delivers should be the next time it's gonna be, you know, ready. So at that time I'll need to make sure to record obviously so you can see it. But yeah, oh, is this actually this train? I just saw a train. Yeah, it may be this train here. Look at the top, it just arrived. Can check here. Oh no, that was another train, sorry, my bad. But yeah, we can look on the map actually to see if the train is coming. Then I could, you know, I could also go into the trains and find that train, but I think it's funnier to see. It could definitely be. Oh no, it's going here. Okay, so we're gonna have to wait a bit. I'll see you in a second. Okay, I think this time this is the one. I followed it, it came all the way here, and now there's only one train coming this side, so it has to be this one. We need to give it a second, and we just have to hope that it has 44 in storage, because I remember we're only making basically 1 per minute. So I'm not too sure, it may be actually slightly less than 44. Damn, I was really looking and I actually missed it. It took like 2 seconds to go full. It is now full. We have all 4 space elevators parts that have been delivered. Whew. Okay, are you ready? Let's go. Let's load, seal, and we will be ready to send. Go. Let's look at it go. Can I go into the elevator with you? No, it's too high. It's going, and it's gone. We have no more missions. But the game is not complete. We do have one more thing to do. But before I show you this last part of the game to complete it, 2 quick things. The first one is, it's really been taking a lot of time to get there. So please thank me by just leaving a comment, a like, this will really help a lot. And second, if you want to have access to this save, either to play it yourself, to go around, to continue it even further, right, and not have to start from scratch, this save will be made available from today to all of my Patreon and YouTube supporters. So if you want it, you know how to get it. But yeah, as I said, last element is not in the hub. If we go back into the hub over here, you can see this is still the same. Everything is finished. There's nothing really different, but it is actually in our awesome shop. So in the awesome shop, in equipment, we have now access to the Employee of the Planet cup, a gold cup. Let's buy it. Let's buy it. And here it is. We have it in our purchases. We put it in our equipment. All right. Let's put it obviously in our hands. All right. And go for it. Here it is. This doesn't look like coffee. I think it looks more like, I don't know. What do you think it looks like? But yeah, we are ready. We can drink our coffee or whatever that is in an amazing gold cup and look over our territory, our magnificent territory. A lot of things are not fully working anymore, right? I stopped them, or a lot of things are obviously too old, like they're too small. But yeah, I'm really proud. I hope you enjoyed this series. I hope you're also ready for the next one, because version 1.0 is right around the corner. So I'm excited to restart a new one with the full game, with the campaign and everything. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time.